Time is of the essence. So what are you going to do today to fulfill your dreams, your vision, and the purpose for your life? My question is, if not now, when? What's up? Cody, Create Your Purpose. I'm here with Logan Marchen, financial advisor. This is episode 2 of the Create Your Purpose show. I just want to thank you for tuning in. We're going to talk a little bit today just about what it means to set goals for yourself, planning for the future, and just Logan's vision for what he's doing. What's up, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Man, it honestly is greatly appreciated that you have you just took the time to stop by and just talk to us a little bit just about what your vision is for what you're doing. Like, so even if you want to start, just tell the Create Your Purpose audience just generally what you're doing and what your vision is for what you're doing.
Perfect. Well, I wish it was a little bit more complex. It was really so simple. Like a lot of people, just coming out of college and everything, just not really knowing, what I was doing with money. I had student debt. I had everything. Things were just on kind of autopilot, and so I reached out to a local big bank. I'm not going to say who. And was sitting down and talking to an advisor, I really wanted to get things on track, and I walked in with a credit card and a little bit more debt. So over time, I wanted to really dial down and see what is my purpose? What is it that I want to do? And it became clear that there was a couple things I was good at and some things that I really wanted to help share with people. And so first and foremost, I wanted to help people. I wanted to make sure that whatever it is I was doing was helping people. And a lot of jobs you can say, yep, that helps people. That's the whole point of a job. But I also like building those relationships and building those one-on-one. I want to actually see the person succeed that I'm helping.
And I can totally relate to what you're saying, because I remember sitting down with you and just talking about finances are such an emotional thing, and sitting down and having the opportunity to really sit down with somebody you trust and somebody you like, and it just makes all the difference. And so you were saying that kind of it was a self-discovery kind of process essentially for you? Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to know I'm not going to lie to you. The first time I was presented with the opportunity to work in finance, I was like, finance, whatever, right? But I wanted to jump in. I wanted to see, I like the idea of what it is, but I wanted to see. So that was part of that kind of discovery process, is just being able to go, wait, I'm good at this. I love being able to help people, which I can do every day. But then also, it gives... I'm good at finding those tools to say, we are starting at A, what do we have to plan to find B? And then what is your C? If we can take A, how do we get to C? And so that's basically what I do every day.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me, how do you when you sit down with a client, what is the first thing that you would do, or take me through an average day in the life of Logan? What does that look like?
So when I sit down for someone for the first time, really it's like I said, the whole point is the relationship. So I try to take any sort of idea of a transaction off the table right away.
Okay.
Really what I want to know is, personally, do I want to work with this person for the next 10, 15, 20 years? And I asked, say if I was meeting with you, would you want to do the same for me? Because it is a long-term process. We are looking out years and years in advance. Yeah. So we have to like each other.
Yeah, that's right.
But then...
I think we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but really what I want to know is there a future that you see for yourself? Is there a purpose that you see for yourself and your family that I can help achieve for you? Yeah. Or I can help guide or help coach you to find, right? Okay. And obviously there's got to be some dollar value to that purpose that you want to achieve. Because as awesome as it would be to be able to have everything, there in front of you, we live in a world where, you gotta work for it, right?
Yeah.
So just being able to help people find that path. And so then that's really where getting a good idea and really fleshing out goals is what I would say is probably the most important and what I spend the most amount of time on.
So you're spending like a lot of time when you sit down with people, like just specifically on setting goals, specifically on what they're asking goals like to set on. Is that what you're looking for, or like?
Yeah, so like I mean, I have some things that I mean most people have a very like as unique as everyone are. Is there's about 5 or so which are universal to everyone, but we really want to drill down and find out what it is that.
What are those 5? Like
well, the big ones are what does retirement look like for you?
Okay.
And how are you going to fund that retirement?
Yeah.
How much involvement do you want to have in your kids' lives as far as financially? Do you want to pay for their education, or is there some gift that you want to leave them in the long term?
Every kid out there would love that.
Yeah, right? So we want to know those sort of things. Those are the big 2, really. It's what can you leave and what are you going to take for yourself? And obviously in a long-term plan, there's a lot of variables because while it seems like, I'm not going to retire for another 40 years or 50 years, or maybe you're even closer, you're thinking, well, I got 15, 20 years to think about this, it comes a lot quicker than you think. And unfortunately, we're not getting that sort of help from, things like the government and from our businesses, like, pensions and things like that we used to be able to rely on. So sometimes it's the questions start to become more and more real to people these days, as far as I can.
So you would say that majority of things are like time sensitive, like for example, like we phrase a lot of questions here at Create Purpose, like time is of the essence, and what are you going to do today to actually fulfill your future dreams, hopes, and visions, goals for your life? Like, so would you say like a lot of like people are really time sensitive, or like would you say that a lot of people just kind of like go off a whim, they're not really focused on like the future, or like would you say that like what would you say like generally?
Well, I mean, as good as it is to live in the now,
yeah.
You don't want to forget what it is that you're going to do tomorrow,
okay.
right? It's one of those things where we don't dwell on the past, look to the future, but live today. And realistically, that that is the case. You don't want to forget about what you're doing today, or where you are today, but you can't just live today. You have to look for tomorrow as well. Yeah. So time is an absolutely critical component to any plan. But regardless of what its outcome is, I mean, we could say, I'd love to travel across Canada, but you can't really do that without looking at a map, right? So, I mean, realistically, that's what we're trying to do. So you're absolutely right. We want to know, when do you want to achieve that goal? And there's a lot of other ways, and I believe we talked about it before. Just going into what are SMART goals. Yeah. But if we want to before we start to dig into the specifics of it, you want to kind of keep it a high level overview of what it is you're trying to achieve, right? Yeah. So typically, I look at it as 4 things you just can't forget of setting goals, and then you dig down deeper and figure out what those are. But that is, what are we trying to do today to make sure that what you're going to do tomorrow is working? What are the risks involved? Because I mean, every plan has risks involved. You might step off track, or you might, something might happen to you. What are you going to do to make sure that that doesn't derail what it is you're trying to do? Okay. And then, what do we want to do tomorrow? And what happens the day after tomorrow? What's our medium term and our long term things that we're trying to accomplish? Yeah. And then once we kind of have an idea about all of that, which sounds simple, and it is, we want to make sure that those goals are they're SMART goals, basically. So we want to make sure that they're specific, they're measurable, they're attainable, realistic, and time bound. All of those things go together in making sure that if you can answer all of those questions as specifically as possible, as specifically as you need to internalize that goal, then you're on the right track. The last thing I would say, and this is the part that most, like you can, I'm sure if you've opened up a book or you've gone on the internet, you've seen SMART goals before. That's nothing new. And obviously looking at it at a high level view of making sure that what you're doing today gets you to what you're doing tomorrow, that makes sense. But a lot of people forget that you need to once you have this whole plan in place, you need to make that decision. You need to make that, you need to internalize it. And you need to say that once you're done making that plan, you can look at it and say, this is the plan that I'm going to stick to, right? You can't be wishy-washy about it. You have to internalize it and say, yes, I'm open to adjusting this plan, but this is what's going to get me to where I need to go. And if as long as that goal is something that you cannot say, this is not a maybe goal. This is this is what I want.
This is solidifying something.
This is my purpose.
Your purpose
This
or your
is
why.
this is my why. Then you just have to go for it.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a lot of things. I had a mentor early on in my career who basically said, and I couldn't have put it better. It's one of those things that sounds so simple, but every single day there will be things that test your confidence. And it could be even the people closest to you. It could be, your friends and your family. They'll ask and they'll test and they'll pull away that confidence, but you have to keep it any way that you can, because really that's all you got when it comes down to making sure that you're moving forward.
Like what do you think holds people back from setting goals for themselves to actually reach their, maybe the vision for their life? What do you think is the common undertone of what you see and what you do for people setting goals? What is it?
Confidence. I mean, realistically, and I think going back, if I could amend one of my previous answers as far as what it is that I try to achieve every day when I sit down with people, is just making sure that they have more confidence. Now, I do that on a financial side because I feel like, regardless of what you want to do, if you have confidence in your financial outlook, that, the questions that you want answered or didn't know you need answered are now answered, you can kind of pull some of that confidence on, where the money's going to come from, and push you in the direction that whatever it is that you want to accomplish.
Yeah, you mentioned that something about a mentor said to you, and it's really cool that you mentioned the concept of confidence, because one of my mentors actually posted something on social media the other day just about the 3 C's, the concept of courage, confidence, and control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really has to do a lot with when you're setting goals. If you can really attain those 3 specific attributes, I think that you might have the opportunity to really look forward into the future and really do the things that really make you happy.
Yeah, no, I have to agree here. And really coming back to that confidence and with the question you asked, what is it that's holding people back? A lot of it has to come down to just confidence. There's a lot of information out there. And I mean, this isn't a new concept, but there are people out there who make a living by testing that confidence. I mean, you see things in the media, you see things because it's what sells, right?
Yeah.
So
how do you sift through what is crap and what is actually good, solid information about?
It's a lot harder than it looks. It is a lot harder than it looks, and a lot of it just comes down to having that plan in place, because there'll be a lot of new information that comes out, but what's worked in the past tends to continue to work.
Okay.
Right?
The concept of tried, true, tested, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where, you always want to take into account new information. You can't close your eyes and close your ears and go forward. But you have to know, that it goes back to that trust and that confidence in what you've already accomplished to put you towards accomplishing what it is that you're moving towards. Yeah. Realistically.
Awesome. Yeah. Man, I thank you for coming on the show and just really talking to the audience today. Create purpose, a little bit about what it means to set goals for yourself and planning for the future. I really just want to end this episode number 2, just with you asking the audience a question. What is one question that you want to ask them that you want them to answer? Because I have asked you all the questions.
Right.
What is something you want to know from our audience?
Okay. Well, the first thing I would probably ask is, what is your main goal? And don't look too far, don't look too close and say, oh, I'd really like to have that car, or I'd really like to, pay off that bill. Because let's have that confidence to say that if you started today, you could do that. But let's look a little further. What is it that in the next 10 years you wanted to accomplish? What does retirement look like for you? And if you can ask yourself that and go back to some of the things we've talked about already today and say, this is what I would want for me and my family, maybe start working towards that, because I believe you can accomplish it. You just need to make that first step. That's probably what I would say.
You heard it here. What is your future goal?